For a limited time at Sprint, get $50 for each new phone you lease when you switch. That's right. You'll get $50 for each new phone on a prepaid MasterCard issued by MetaBank member FDIC. Just register for the card online and you're good to go. Get a network built for unlimited and a great price at Sprint. It's the best of both worlds. And get $50 on a prepaid MasterCard for each phone you lease. Visit a Sprint store this weekend only for sizzling Sprint Saturday deals.
Card terms, conditions, and expiration apply.
Blog Talk Radio.
Uncle Jasonib, 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 Uncle Jasonib. Uncle Jasonib, 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 Uncle Jasonib. Uncle Jasonib, 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 Uncle Jasonib. Uncle Jasonib, 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 Uncle Jasonib. Uncle Jasonib, 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 Uncle Jasonib. Uncle Jasonib, Uncle Jasonib, Uncle Jasonib, Uncle Jasonib, Uncle Jasonib.
Petapu, peace, Labia Jumbo, love to everyone. We welcome you again to another session with us on Raseki Radio. I am here, Mukajara, with my sister Aura. Peace and love, sis.
Peace and love. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. It's good to be here one more day.
Yeah. I know that's right. It is a beautiful day, and we are thankful to be here for sure. And we welcome everyone. We thank you all for joining in. We are going to go ahead and open up with a prayer as usual. We have to give honor and respect. And we're going to share the prayer for endowment as we are still honoring our great teacher, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. Give thanks for her spirit. Thou who art blacker than a trillion midnights, whose eyes shine brighter than a billion suns, thou whose hair doth coil tighter than a million springs, radiating all energy throughout the universe, we beseech thee, one and only one, to give us total strength to carry out thy will for the universe, to establish justice on planet Earth and live in peace. Dua, dua, dua. And we give thanks and we send a special prayer out to our family in Flint, Michigan, and to those in Detroit and others in the area who have been affected and poisoned by that water, that toxic water. We are sending our prayers, we're sending our money, our water, and, you know, we are all keeping this in our minds as we move forward because we know, you know, it's not just Flint, and it can happen anywhere at any time. So we are praying for true justice on the planet Earth, and that we are working together with unity, with harmony, and with courage as we move through these days. Dua. Dua.
Oh, wow.
I am, I won't say my heart is heavy, but I'm definitely thinking about the people there and just thinking about this time that we're in and, you know, just being mindful. And actually, it's brought to mind many of the warnings that were given to me 20-something years ago by leaders who said that there will be a time when they're going to poison the water, they're going to poison the food, and it's going to be hard for us to, you know, find somewhere to live in peace. And so it's just real interesting to actually live, you know, to see that time that was prophesied to come. And, you know, here we are right now, 2016. So it's definitely something that is in our face. You know, last year we had the continuous videos being shared of our people being killed in the streets. And that was a wake-up call for a lot of people. And so now we starting off this year with this toxic water, and it's like, okay, you know, don't get comfortable, you know, don't think that it's any time to just relax, you know. We definitely have to be prepared and preparing and strategizing, making moves, planning, you know, taking action, standing up. So many things that we can be and should be doing, and a lot of us are doing right now. So I guess I just had to put that on out there to start the show off. And I'm sure you have some things to share. We are going to go ahead and move into our topic and bring in our guests. And I'm sure they probably want to share on this as well. So, but I'm going to let you go ahead, sis.
It's just that, you know, the more and more as I'm diving, coming up with deeper solutions, pulling together the information that I already have and, you know, looking into more information as, you know, all of this continues to uncover and understand that, you know, not only am I a healer priestess with the temple, but I'm also a herbalist, a holistic wellness practitioner, as well as a holistic doula. And one of the things that really stuck out to me is that when you deal with the complications of lead into how it interferes with our nervous system and our reproductive system and even the major organs that are in our blood. But when it stuck out to me as a doula, like, this could cause sterility in many of our people. And what is the challenge? And this is where the spiritual aspect comes into and the prayer comes into, because the adults actually in this case can possibly be more resilient than the children. Some of the effects, according to some of the research that I've been reading, are longer lasting when children are exposed to toxic levels. And really there's no safe level of lead to be in the bloodstream. But just even their learning abilities, the behavioral implications that could follow them into adulthood. There are ways to, lead is considered a heavy metal, so chelation treatments are possible to help to cleanse the body. Of course, just having quality water and filtration and improvement of the whole infrastructure of that place is called for. But there's a lot of things that do come into play that we have to really pray for. So it's like we can't discount prayer, but we can't leave it simply as, okay, I'm just going to pray. I'm not going to do anything about it. And we have some noble efforts of people sending water, which is definitely an immediate need. And prayerfully, there are some other things that are happening, So, there's a state of emergency that's happening at this point. So, we all have to be vigilant. And there's a lot of things that are coming into play, and some of the efforts that are happening now are basically just to cover their own behinds, because this is an issue that has been going on. They've known about it for a very long time, and now after it is undeniable, and now they are calling attention to it and apologizing and, doing all of these things, which is really kind of hard to really swallow at this point, because they've known about it. They've let it go on so long, knowing what the implications could be. So, we all got to do our part. Pulling together some information. It's going to be some more things that are happening. And I know that when we work together, we can do many, many great things. So I'm just really interested, even still knowing that with our special guests that are coming on tonight, I know that their wisdom and insight will also be helpful to bring clarity and bring the puzzle pieces together so that we can see the whole landscape clearly. So I'm ready to get started.
All right, let's go ahead and bring in Russ Ben. Are you with us, Russ? Peace and love.
Yes, I. Russ, can you hear the I?
Yes,
I. Love respect. Russ, safety family.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We love you, Ross Ben. We love your energy.
It's always good to hear your voice. We give thanks for you joining in, and we do love you for sure.
Yes, I.
Mm-hmm. So did you want to share anything? Did you hear our conversation about the lead in the water?
I sure did, yeah. Well, say like astrologically, I think the astrological trigger, lead is Saturn ruled. And Saturn did a hard square with Neptune and Pisces in November, which I think really just brought, even though the thing had been jumping off for a year or so, kind of just, brought us out into the open, And I think it's an opportunity for us to show the wonders of natural healing, and zeolite is just something that comes to my mind, the zeolite clay. It's more or less like a clay, a silicate that is super ionic, super magnetic. It binds with heavy metals and neutralizes them, gets them out the body. And, there's a lot of other remedies that we can use for the healing, So I think that is going to be a part of how this thing plays out, because Neptune and Pisces, that's what Neptune is all about, holistic health and holistic practices, going back to the oneness. So, but you're right, it's not just that square triggered a couple of things. We got the methane leak in LA, where they got these old methane gas wells toxifying whole communities, So I'm bringing that up to say that it is going to be a theme, I think, for this year, where environmental hazards of post-industrial Babylon, going to impact people. You got to also put that in perspective with remember the river in Colorado, where the EPA caused an accidental, well, they said it was accidental, but a gold mine, all of the heavy metals out of the gold mine toxified the river in Colorado, turned it yellow for a month or so. So it is going to be a theme we have to armor for. So definitely the zeolite family, and so there's an edible zeolite that several products available over the internet. But then the zeolite family of crystals, we definitely want to be having in our environment and our sleeping area as well. Deal with this extra heavy metals in our environment. Can't forget Fukushima as well. We got extra radiation in our environment. So the zeolite family is definitely crystals to be working with in this time. That's apophyllite is probably the most well-known zeolite. Clear, pyramidal, kind of soft crystal, usual glowing cluster. Yes, that's what I would share with that.
The apophyllite, do you carry that by chance?
You can, but it's soft. That's the one thing to know about apophyllite. It'll chip and break kind of easy. So if you're going to carry it, put it in a pouch, wrap it up in fabric. Yeah, keep it guarded. Yeah.
All right.
But it's definitely also good to have in the environment.
Yes, no doubt. Apophyllite. I love to work with apophyllite, but I do also want to bring in our special guest, Baba Kwame, Sunhorse. Peace and love. Baba, can you hear us?
Yes.
Are you
greetings.
with us?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Greetings. Greetings.
Yes,
Greetings.
Baba. Love.
Greetings, Ross Ben. How's the brother?
Thankful. Good to hear your voice.
Good. I'm hoping we'll move forward Saturday, but looks like the weather's going to try to change things. But it's all left up to the Most High.
True.
So the The topic that you all are speaking on is a very important one, and especially when you talk about water, because water is the element of consciousness, and in indigenous, the West is represented by the color black, and it represents water, the thunder being. This is where water, the rains come from, the West. And so in this, that water has a consciousness and a memory. To toxify it or to poison it pollutes the earth in its consciousness and its ability to shift with us. And when you were talking about Ross and I coming together with you all going to Arkansas, because Arkansas is considered one of the vortexes, because Arkansas has been a sacred space. Hot Springs, Arkansas has been a sacred space for thousands of years before the European even came to this continent, because on a daily basis it produces 1.5 million gallons at 143 degrees silica carbide water, silica water. And what that does is it forms the crystal, because the largest crystal base in Arkansas, it is one of the largest clear quartz crystal on the planet, as known to this day. And in that being that, it's producing an energy here on Turtle Island that is resonating a frequency with the other 12 grids on the planet that they're trying to shift. And this is what you're getting with what happened in Colorado, what's happened up there in Michigan. And what we have to begin to do is look at how our ancestors were able to help in dealing with water and the consciousness of water. Even when they made The Secret, they were showing you what Emoto did by just speaking into the water. You change the frequency, because the human being is basically 70% water, and the brain is 85 and some 90% water. So that consciousness of water is very important for our existence. And for the other half of it is that in us being able to use spiritual rituals, when Ross was talking about the different crystals, you can take crystals and put in water and reprogram the water to its life force back into it. Just using clear quartz crystals, sitting it out in the sun, let it activate, and it will clear the water. But we also look at what the Indians in India do when they do Agnihotra. Agnihotra is the burning of dong and ghee at sunrise and sunset. And using the ash from that purifies and takes any toxin in water out. And it's a fertilizer, and it's also a what else is it good? Oh, it's good for healing outer cuts or whatever. You can make a paste and put on. So what we've got to do in being able to become more spiritually sovereign, we've got to look at the tools that our ancestors, you look at Kemet. Kemet was one in which we produced some of the highest civilization, and the thing was, it was gold, and it was using granite and building those tombs that they did in Giza. Those were sound channels where you could produce sound that create frequency that you could basically reconnect back to the cosmic. So what we have to begin to do is study those things that were left by our ancestors and begin to use them in the process of this spiritual warfare, because Dr. Frances Cress Wilson has been telling us since she wrote Press Theory, Solar Confrontation in 1970, I think 71. But anyway, when she wrote that and then got with Neely Fuller and looked at it and said, this is white supremacy racism. This is a genocidal project that our children are doing. Wow, my computer kicked on the other one. But,
we still hear you.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that these tools that we have been given, what you have there in the knowledge and the prayers in the temple, those words have power, because it began in the beginning when it says, let there be light. He spoke it into existence. We've got to learn to use the energy of our voice and prayers and mantras and songs to energize this life force called water. And so what we have to begin to do is each one teach one. And so this is what I've come here to Maryland to be a part of a gathering they're having here on Saturday dealing with the children of two shields, and which the children of two shields is the unification of the red and the black, bringing back our African tradition of healing and spirituality, the indigenous teachings of those people here that were on Turtle Island, and begin to exchange in this knowledge of our ancestral ways and how we did what we did. And the sister was talking about being a doula. That is the most key part, because the embryonic fluid is the first waters that you develop in. And so we have got to be able to share this information and no longer allow them to cut out the children, because in them coming through the birth canal, that gives them the antibodies that begin the process of their immune system. We've got to know what we used to know before they knew it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got to say.
Well, we give, and I do want to ask both of you. I just let you all jump in without giving you a proper introduction. So, Baba Kwame, if you would just tell us and our listeners a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Well, I'm the founder of what's called ATTUNE. ATTUNE stands for Awakening Universal Mind. And what I've done is taken what Spirit has given me charge to do as my purpose, in saying that helping us to understand we are the ones we've been waiting for. You are the ones you've been waiting for. Because once we understand truth, and that word is spelled Truth, truth, the only vowel in that word is you. Each one of us. And we have to understand how to find our purpose, in which we were conceived to be the memory before we came into this human existence. And what that has to do, we need to have spiritual helpers, the wisdom keepers, the elders, the way showers, the ceremony, the people that facilitate the spiritual rituals. All of these are tools in which I've taken on the responsibility in dealing. And even with connecting with Ross, he got connected with the mineral people just about the same way I did. Somebody introduced me to a crystal, and the next thing I know, I'm out there every year in Hot Springs, Arkansas, digging up crystals and triangulating them across the planet, because that's how Kajara and I got together. And well, we knew each other before then in Atlanta, and she's from Chicago. But the thing is that these mineral people are workers. And what we've got to do is become that which we've come to this planet to do. And this is what I have done for myself. I'm a sun dancer with the Lakota Nation. I also do Inipe ceremony. I do the 7 sacred ceremonies. And so what the 7 sacred ceremonies, and I also was initiated in rites of passage from the Hon, which is the breath, which is in the Afanti tradition of a way of life, because rites of passage is nothing but a French word, which really is what they took was our way of teaching culture, because Dr. John Henry Clark said you define the people by land, history, and culture. Culture is the life force that you put into a petri dish to see what it will grow or what it will not grow. And culture is the force in which we have within our communities that we used to have. But in the communities, we've got to bring that life force back, that culture. So anyway, that's the description I can give in a few words.
Powerful.
Do I? And Rasbin, if you would do the same. And we do have a caller who wants to join in. I see you. I'm going to bring you in. We're just going to give Rasbin a chance to share about himself.
Yes, I guess my title I wear best is humble servant, serving the Most High by serving humanity, and one of the ways I serve is as an ambassador of the mineral nation. So I do, work with the crystals and the sacred stones, being a way for them to heal humanity and heal the earth one human at a time, So, and in doing that, I also work with the Kemetic reflexology and the Rasteki, Kemetic Reiki, and work with pyramids, sacred geometry, and a lot of different sacred sciences, coming out of that mystical order of Rastafari. So, yeah, that's that's my work in a nutshell.
All right. Give thanks. And as I said, I'm going to bring in our caller at area code 205. Peace and love. You are live on. Go ahead.
Okay. Peace and love. This is Idris.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. How are you?
Yes, hi. Peace and love.
All right. How are y'all? I just have a quick question. Since you're talking about crystals, how was I think it's AXUM, the Exum crystal used?
Which one is that?
I think it's AXUM, and I think it's used for dispersing or absorbing negative energy.
Axum. I'm not familiar with that one. Are you, Baba? Kwame?
No, it's probably given a different name because they're changing, and it's like the Lemurian crystal. Or you have new crystals that are being found that have been activated, especially in Arkansas, from the emerald crystal, that are taking on, like you would get, almost four-pointed double terminated. They've healed together, and you have 4 points coming out of one crystal.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, sister. I'm not familiar with the Axum. What does it look like? Is it quartz or?
It looks like quartz. I don't think it is, but that's what it looks like. It's not as hard.
You know where it comes out of?
I don't know where it's out of. I found someone. I saw a discussion online about it, and I actually found the piece in Mutana in Atlanta.
No, but I will keep an eye out for it. So.
We'll have to look that one up.
Yeah.
The Exum crystal.
Yeah, I'm looking some things up now. I'm not seeing a whole lot of information, but a lot of it's probably just a new stone like Baba Kwame, or probably not new, but new to us. I know that there is a place called Aksum, I believe, in Ethiopia.
Yes.
So it could be a new crystal that, derived its name from where they found it. So, that's just something to keep our eye open for, I believe. So.
Okay.
And, I will take this as an opportunity to say, though, that you got a lot of cats in the gem and mineral industry that what they'll do is they'll take a mineral, take a crystal, and then trademark a name, right? And then, say like, okay, that's the name of this crystal, and that if you use that name in your, your business or your commerce, yeah, they trying to sue you, so they trademark that name. So, like I know one of them's called the Zezilite. We got a whole bunch of different. So a lot of times these newer name stones, you got to watch it because they might, it might be one of these. It might be a stone you're more familiar with by another name, but now they done just put a new label on it and got you picked out. Yes, go ahead, Baba.
Yeah, and you're correct, because it's just like what they do when they radiate crystals to make them into smoky quartz. Or they will add and put gold or platinum on it, on a clear quartz crystal, microwave it and fuse it together, and then they give it a new name. And what they're doing is altering the frequency of the crystal by using electric microwaving it, or they're even taking it apart and making what they call now liquid crystal and reforming the crystal. It's just like everything that we use for technology comes from clear quartz crystal, because it's but what they did with it, they can't use the clear quartz crystal because they need a straight circuit that is like fiber optics. It has to run in order for it to be working. So what they did is created synthetic. They took the formula of it and they put it into a laboratory, and they made themselves this synthetic clear quartz crystal and able to create, all of the technology to use it. And even when you look at what's happening in the Congo and with the coltan, that's a mineral that when they take it and use it, that's what they use in making cell phones, digital cameras, because when you use your ringtones, and they killing people, massively killing, and child slavery is running wild over there just for this mineral, so we can have our iPhones, we can have our iPads, we can have all of these toys, while our people being enslaved to get this mineral, because that's the only place that you can get it is there in the motherland.
I knew it was something deeper than what they were saying. What is the name of that mineral, Baba?
Coltan, Coltan. Just like we used to dig cotton. Now they dig in
all
coltan.
our cell phones.
But he did send me a picture of the axum, and it looks like calcite. It looks like quartz, but it looks like it's a little softer than quartz, and it's cracked, like it could have been radiated or something like that. So
they're altering, and we have to be mindful of that, because this is why Ross has the charge in being connected to the mineral people, and he's done extensive studying of each, because there's a frequency with each crystal, and it deals with certain things. Even the colors of crystal resonates with the chakras in the human body, and we have to learn how to use these tools, because even in the Bible, when they talked about the breastplate, the 12 stones that they used to create the breastplate, because once we begin to understand how to use nature's tools, we can heal and cure anything that comes our way. Because melanin, and Rossi wrote this in Rock of Ages, when he talks about the melanin, he talks about the crystal and the chlorine. What is it? The chlorophyll of the plant. All the chemical connect and their frequency resonate. We absorb the energy of the sun better than most other people that don't have enough melanin.
Right. All right. Yeah, Brother Idris, did you have any other questions?
Nope, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Well, we thank you for listening and joining in. I'm going to go ahead and mute your phone now. I think it was a little feedback. We got so many people on the line. But
It's interesting.
Go ahead, sis.
It's just interesting, and just trying to look up the stone, just new stones or new names for stones all the time. And even just a discussion on, fabricated crystals that they take from actual crystals. And, you and I were discussing, Mukajara, earlier, how they'll take the actual crystals from the earth and crush them and soak them in acid and do all this pressurized heat and make something that's not, that's man-made pretty much. And I would like for our guests to maybe comment on and just share with the listening audience the difference energetically and the usefulness between natural stones, fabricated stones, even between raw and polished. If you don't mind, maybe sharing a little bit about that. And maybe what we can look for as we are, gathering our own collections for various uses. Thanks.
True. Well, some sacred stones are actually ores or metal that when they are cut, polished, it brings out their luster, it brings out their beauty, and makes them actually sometimes safer to use. Malachite is a good example of that, Malachite is straight copper ore, and a lot of times when it comes out the mine, it's, it just looks kind of like a black mass that's real chalky and gritty. And if you were to handle it with it in that form, you could toxify yourself, getting inorganic copper ingested, and, which is not good. So when they polish it, cut and polish it, brings out that green luster you're familiar with malachite, and it makes it less brittle, so you're not going to, poison yourself working with it. So some stones, it's good to cut and polish. But, you got to terminate it and crystallize by its nature, Any stone where you can see the crystallization by its nature, yeah, it's best to leave it as it is, and use those energetics, the form energy dynamics of it in its natural state. Because it's going to help you return to your natural state. It's like we're in a denatured environment. We don't really get to study the sun, moon, and stars in their order like, we used to. We're not connecting with the waters like we used to. You know what I'm saying? These urban environments is denatured. The crystals, you got a piece of nature in your pocket. So if you can look at it and see, like, oh, there's the termination, the facets of the crystal and the natural cuts of it, yeah, you want to keep that. That's of value. And what I suggest, too, as far as, because, yeah, they do, like a lot of citrine out of Brazil is heat-treated amethyst. And you see that bright orange citrine that has some white in it. That's using that natural. As Brother Kwame said, a lot of smoky quartz. If it's black, smoky quartz is just that. It's going to look like quartz if somebody blew some smoke in. you know. But if it's just like black, almost hard to see light through it, not really translucent, it's probably been irradiated. And you see some real brightly colored, iridescent agate, it's probably been dyed, you know. So, but what I was going to say is, it's really wise to get some form of muscle testing or dowsing, you know, so like a pendulum, or you yourself be the human pendulum, or you have some form of muscle testing where, you know, you can tell your strength and your weakness based on questions you ask. And in that way, when you come across a stone, you need to know if it's natural or not, or if it's using just energetically good for you. You can use your pendulum, muscle test, douse, and know right then and there, you know. And that's just wise in this time, general for, because, right, there's a, like I say, now they're coming out with all these new name crystals and, yeah, you know, when it's all said and done, you need to be able to know energetically, is this stone going to resonate with me and give me a healing, or is it going to have an adverse effect with me energetically? And be able to have a consistent way of testing that you're really well attuned to, you know. So I recommend that for everyone.
Right. And Ross, the other part, I thank the sister for an excellent question that she's asking, because even when, you know, they're coming out with these zirconian diamonds, these are all man-made diamonds. And the chocolate diamond, this color, that color, and what they're doing is being able to formulate them in a lab. And the thing that diamonds come from, diamonds are the hardest substance in the gemstone family. And what diamonds come out of is being, there was a poem I think Maya Angelou wrote talking about the black woman and saying that it fell and it became a fossil, and it went deeper in the earth under more and more pressure, and it became coal. And over time, it became that coal got under more and more and more pressure until it finally either it's going to disintegrate and become earth again, or it will form itself into a diamond, which is the hardest substance. And so this is how she spoke about the divine feminine, the mother of mankind. The part about what you're asking, too, you know, the other part, Ross, I thought you was going to hit on is the Gem and Mineral Show that we need to start attending there in Tucson, Arizona, where they bring gems from all over the world. Everywhere on the planet that there's gemstones, they come, and for 3 weeks it is, and it turns the whole city of Tucson into this Gem and Mineral Show. And what we got to be able to do, too, is that because in that you're able to ask those people that come from the mines that bring these gems there, were they harvested by dynamite or were they harvested by natural way? Because when you blow up and you get crystals, you traumatize that into that energy of that stone. And so what we've got to be mindful is how we're harvesting that, because just like with Kajara and I was showing her, the crystals find you. All you got to do is go to their place, and if you're in the right frequency in your heart, they will present themselves to you to be taken and used in the way they want you to use it. And it's like, you know, Ross was saying that if you're going in a store and you're looking at the crystals, you can use a pendulum or what do they call it? What is it when you put your hand over your heart and you hold the piece out and you do?
The kinesiology.
Yeah, kinesiology. And using that in order. Your body will tell you, because the human body is crystal. That's what the little sweat, when it turns into salt, that's crystal in your blood. Magnite is in your skull. That's what receives the frequency from the environment around, those thousands of particles that's falling from the cosmos. That's how you receive that. Your body is crystalline. And see, this is what we're shifting from a carbon base, because Edgar Cayce, in one of his predictions, said in the 21st century, the sixth human being will come into existence. We're moving from a carbon-based, mineral thought human to a silica-based, digital thought human. And if you look at what's going on, this is what the transformation in the human is.
Mm-hmm. All right. That's serious right there. But I can really feel that, and I feel it also in the way that we have been so attracted to the crystals, and even our children, you know, they're even drawn to the crystals when they see them. So I can feel that we are becoming, I mean, we even calling them the crystal children. So we can see that we really
and I mean, and I can say that I have seen over the last 20 years the natural attraction to crystals grow in our community, you know, where just there really wasn't an awareness on crystals as big in our community 20 years ago, and it's just grown, you know. Really
and Ross, you hit a key point, but we did because in Grandma's china cabinet, what did she have?
Crystal.
Yeah, and that is true.
That is true. Crystal glasses and everything in that china cabinet. You only used it for special occasions, but we had crystals.
Yeah. That is so true. And I wanted to talk about that, the history of crystals, because I do feel like, you know, it's becoming more popular for us, and I guess in the rock form, because grandmas, all of our grandmamas right now got crystals in her house somewhere. And but the history of crystals is often not discussed, you know, the fact that they have been used throughout history, throughout the world. You know, people don't even really understand and make the connections to the crystals and the minerals and how, you know, they're associated. So can you all just touch on that a little bit? Just a little bit.
Well, I will say, like you say, U.S. history, right? The first documented use of crystals was wheat, and it occurred at the Charles Kell House in Annapolis, Maryland, when they were excavating the house for renovation, and you know, came across the enslaved quarters, and they found a calabash that when they calabash, there was 13 crystals under the calabash. And there was a Conzo cosmogram drawn on the calabash, so they kind of assumed that this was like some system of divination, you know. But what it did was they made them say, well, dang, let's look at other colonial sites and see if we find similar finds. And basically what they found was they could tell if Africans or indigenous ones were enslaved at a particular plantation or not, based on whether they found crystals and sacred stones, because that was the one consistent thing that they found at most plantations where we were at. So, Charles, the excavation at the Charles Carroll House is the first one, and the one that is most commonly referenced in this context. But that's, a good piece to mention. And it really does seem like even just beyond, you say, African, specifically Congo, that there was a tradition in the Congo of what them called Nkisi, which was basically making, like a talisman, a medicine talisman that usually involved quartz of some form, And the Congo had a very deep cosmology dealing with crystal, and Baba Kwame had mentioned the West. This was the land of the setting sun, the land of the dead, like the first stop in the underworld to the Congo. And having living earth was very important in terms of keeping your ashe, keeping your spirit intact, being really like in the first land of the dead, the land of the setting sun, the first level of the underworld,
right.
What we call Babylon, So all of this was a part of Congo cosmology, and the Nkisi, the crystal medicine, was all about keeping your spirit in the land of the dead, the false, your life force captured and imprisoned in the land of the setting sun, So.
And you can go, and Russ, that was on point, because there was another part too, and I thought you might hit on it, and it was the part of being that Turtle Island was the place from Kemet in the West, and the thing that happened was geologists, because they have a crystal called skeletal quartz found in North and South Carolina. And what the geologists did when they began to find the skeletal quartz there in North and South Carolina, they found it on the west coast of Africa. Same identical skeletal quartz, because this showed that the two lands were one, geologically, that they were one. But even going back when I spoke earlier about the King's Chamber and the Queen's Chamber in the Pyramid of Giza, that granite is quartz granite, and within that granite is quartz crystal. And what they knew, that they could build it in such a way that when they gave mantras through the portals there and someone was laying in that sarcophagus, they've proven it. The frequencies in which transmit illuminates light. This is why when the alignment on July 24th, the day out of time, through the Mayan calculations, is that when Sirius, the star that we gave the name Isis, when she aligns on that day on July 24th and shines within that Queen's Chamber, it illuminates that frequency, that light frequency illuminates that granite and tones and sends down through the chambers all the way to the pool that is at the bottom of the Pyramid of Giza, and that makes the Nile River rise every year. Every year when that alignment happens, the frequency from that from that granite resonates a frequency to make the Nile River rise. Even in North Carolina, there was a ceremony done on Pilot Mountain in which it was able to align on that grid on the East Coast, and the natives did it because they wanted to show the Europeans. They went up there and did a ceremony, made an earthquake so powerful in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and made the Mississippi River run backwards. And what we've got to be able to do is learn how to use, because even now they're speculating through theory that in that writing and using crystals with the right tone, that's how you create a laser beam. You send a beam through a crystal or a ruby, and you create a laser that can cut through anything.
And I think they use crystals a lot in that technology even now, so that's, whew.
Right.
Wow, it's in our hands. We just got to remember.
Yeah, but see, the thing is that we are cosmic citizens. This is what I tell you here. No, I'm a cosmic citizen, because the federation in which I came out of, and the old Macs tell you, you know, I met a grandmother from Mexico, Grandma Margarita, and the first thing she told me, she says, Baba Kwame, your people come from Syria, and they come and they build heads with my people, and they teach us all your sacred ways.
Well,
Pilot Mountain ain't far from here. I can drive to Pilot Mountain.
And I do want to get into some conversation about some, you know, we need to do some rituals. We could go to Pilot Mountain, like she said, it's not too far from here. And we are going to be getting together in Arkansas, too, to do some things.
But this is called geomancy. Geomancy is earth divination. Why do you think that they build certain buildings and certain things in specific alignment on certain points and grids on the planet in alignment with the heavens? Because the heavens, as what is it in when it talks about in the Bible that he named all of the stars and the planets and the signs and the seasons. The signs, that's what he's trying to tell us. These are the signs that if you align, like Washington, D.C., Benjamin Banneker, my grandmother was a Dogon. He knew astrology. He knew that on July 4 of 1776 at daybreak, that star system on the horizon on the east would be in the constellation Virgo, because in the west it would have been Pisces, because we were what? In the time of Pisces.
Right.
What's the opposite of Pisces? Virgo. So they laid that cornerstone and able to create an imitation of the first city of government was Memphis. And what they're doing is copying our story. We got to understand how to use earth energy, because she will help us through anything if we align with her. That's why on 12, the grids, 144 grids, realigned and activated, and the frequency of the waters of Nu, when we crossed the galactic center, reactivated this whole Milky Way, because Sirius, the largest star in our system, Sirius A, B, and C is the placenta, and that's the placenta gives the milk for the Milky Way. We got to understand our science.
All right now.
Wow.
I do want to invite our listeners to join the conversation. If someone has questions, you can dial 1, and I will bring you in. And I'm not sure what's going on with the chat room right now. I'm not getting much feedback there. But if you do have some questions, see if you can send them through the chat room if you have logged in. And I want to just ask, we're talking about the crystals, so what can we do right now? If we have crystals around, I know some people who collect them, and they ask me all the time, what can I do with the crystals? So just share with me some things that people, because I know people are attracted to them, but not really sure how to use them.
Right. Well, your quartz shouldn't just be sitting around in a basket randomly laying around. What we need to do is line up our crystals in a grid, in a geometric pattern, in a sacred geometric pattern, you know, in what you might call a altar or a sacred space in your home. And what that's going to do, you know, crystals, what makes a crystal is that molecularly, it's ma'at. It's, you know, molecules are order, balance, symmetry, you know, the molecules of crystals are. And that gives those molecules energy potential. When we then put crystals in a order that's beautiful and sacred, we get a macrocosmic, microcosmic order happening. And then what that does is open up a portal of energy potential. So then it's, you know, so your crystals is working all the time. It's not like, you know, they shouldn't just be in a basket waiting on you to do something. If everyone who has some crystals set up a sacred space, then we would even be connected by a greater grid, you know, and then that will bring about the quickening of getting this critical mass of consciousness. Enough people awaken that we get that 100th monkey effect. And, you know, our thoughts are impacting those who, you know, are unconscious, unawakened neighbors who are now inspired to eat better, live better, do better, be, you know, be more aware about politics and not just getting caught up in the, you know, blind tricks that Babylon got laid out for us, you know. So, yeah, that's one thing we should all be doing. But then, you know, we got to learn ourselves, learn what elements are in our body, what those elements do, and then know what crystals those elements are represented in. Then we'll know what healing that crystal has for us. So we know that the highest concentration of copper is in our sympathetic nervous system. And our sympathetic nervous system is where we have that stored trauma. You know, how we're in this post-traumatic age. Then we know that copper family, the Malachite, the Azurite, chrysocolla, is going to help us get that stored trauma out of us. You know, iron's in our blood. You know, we anemic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you ain't doing nothing. Iron is the magnetic. Anything that's magnetic is iron. So,
okay,
if you're not the Magi, we in the age of the Magi, right? Paradigm of working hard to make money. No, man, that's old thinking. We're in the quickening now. We ain't even got time to work hard. You know what I'm saying? We got to think and be abundant. But if the Magi is not magnetized, you're not doing nothing. So we got to work some iron stones to magnetize ourselves. So we got to know what all those elements in our body do. Then when we know what elements those, you know, the crystals those elements are represented in, we'll have a better idea what we're supposed to do with the stones we got and the stones we attracted to, you know.
Yes. And we do have some questions that are coming in. Were you going to say something?
Well, I was just going
Okay.
to piggyback, but I'll let you go ahead and do the questions, and then I'll come in with the part going with what Ross was sharing.
Okay.
Oh, please
So
share, because you might get off topic. Just wanted to share on this particular one.
Okay, we're gonna remember the topic. We working with the crystals, and we are gonna bring in, because we got a few people who want to come in. So we have a caller at area code 704. Peace and love, and welcome to the call. Area code 704. Can you hear us?
I think, I can hear. Hello?
All right.
That's Tab. I know that voice.
Hello?
Brother Kerr.
Oh, yes. What's up, sis? How you doing? Ross, you here? My brother?
Yes, sir. Bless up.
I want to know about this trip coming up in Arkansas. I just saw it, and that's something I've been wanting to do for quite a number of years, because I've done some homework in that area, and I'm pretty fascinated with crystals and that type of thing. So I'm definitely interested in joining that trip. And I didn't really get a chance to get many details about it because I just got straight on the call. But I'd like to know more about the trip. And just also, man, just encourage you to and thank you for the work that you're doing. I don't know any the other brother that's on the call or whatever, but I know I'm an avid collector of stones, and I've seen the power of them, and so I'm definitely want to learn more about how to activate them and be able to use them just in my life every day. So I'm gonna shut up and let you talk.
Yes, sir. Well, truth be told, this is going to be my first experience in Arkansas as well. This is a trip that I've wanted to make for many years, and it's actually the elder Kwame Sunhorse who is, the trailblazer on these tribes, and he has been encouraging me for years, and he encouraged Mut Kadara, and I think you went last year, sister, or 2 years?
Yes,
ago?
I went last year with Baba Kwame, and he is going to be taking us on this trip again this year. We're so thankful that he's going to be guiding us, because he is the one that is experienced in actually digging for the crystals. So I'm just going to share a few details. We are going to be staying in Arkansas at the hot springs, around the Hot Springs Village, which is near the mine, the Ron Coleman mine, which is the largest quartz mine in the area. And we'll be there Friday night, March 25th, to Monday, March the 28th. And we're going to go to the crystal mine on the Saturday and be there as long as we can, as long as we can dig, I guess, till our arms get tired, really. But we'll also be doing some discussions. We're going to have some vegan food, and we will have Ras Ben and Baba Kwame and the Raseki family there to share some healing, some wisdom, and some crystal therapy. So it's going to be a real beautiful experience. So, Baba Kwame, would you like to add on to that about the trip in Arkansas?
Well, I thank you, and I'm appreciative of the brother who chimed in and wanting to know a little bit more about the dig, because it's a powerful time, because each person that goes there has been drawn there by source and the crystal, and it's your time to be there. There's 143 miles of clear quartz crystal that grows there, and there's 40 to 70 miles. Crystal grows in the way that the sun turns, because it's developed through the silica water for thousands of years, it's been growing with the frequency of the sun frequency and the earth frequency that forms the sacred geometric patterns of the clear quartz crystal. They're piezoelectric, and you could try cutting a crystal with a saw or hit it a certain way, and you'll see sparks come out of it. So, yes, they're very powerful. And what happens with this is that Ron Coleman, the Coleman mine, has been there when World War II started, when they used to use the radio with catgut in order to, like we used to have to dial our radio. It was a strand of catgut that ran across a crystal that resonated a frequency into the copper wire to tune into the station. And so that's how they got started. And what now they've been doing is still excavating, because Ron Coleman has one of the world's largest crystals. It's over, have you seen it, Ross, at the gym show? It's over 6 feet tall. And it's just one huge mass of crystal. But anyway, the crystal that he excavates is from a quarry, and you go what's called on Ouachita Mountain. And what I usually do when we go there, the first thing you do is you make an offering and prayer to the energy there and thanking the ancestors and thanking the mineral people for sharing what they're going to share with you, because whenever we take anything from nature, we got to offer to nature. And we have to learn how to do certain rituals and balance, like Sister Kajar said, we're going to be doing certain rituals. And in that process of getting those crystals, because basically they find you, all you do is start moving earth and they appear. So they've been waiting thousands, even millions of years for you to come there and be presented with them in order for them to come and triangulate energy across the planet. Because I can take a crystal from the mine. I've sent crystals to Africa. I've sent them into Canada. I've sent them down to South America. And they triangulate the energy at the exact same time. So whatever goes on with those crystals that you have, that energy that's going on in that plant over there in Arkansas is triangulating there, because the Atlanteans seeded what was called the emerald crystal in Mount Magazine, because Jessup or Hot Springs, Arkansas, is the center of the vortex, because you have the only diamond mine just south of Jessup is the only diamond mine in the 48 states. You have the lodestones, which are magnetic stones, which is on the other side of 30. You have the Toltec mounds, which are earth pyramids built by our ancestors there on the river, Arkansas River. So what you have is a vortex of earth energy being. That's why those birds in some years back was trying to fly through and hit that electrical field coming up from the earth, knocked them all out. And so what we're doing is we're showing us how to get the tools. These are just tools to help us to get to the right frequencies. Because even when I'm traveling across rivers or waters, I take them and put them in the ocean. I put them in rivers. Because what I'm doing is activating and triangulating, helping the grid to be realigned with. There's a Shoshone Native American called Benny LeBeau. And what he's done is he's lining up the grid. When we had the drought in Georgia, he called down and he said, Kwame, get your people together, meet me on Stone Mountain, because the energy is all whack there. I said, okay. We got up there, we went at sunrise, before sunrise. We went and we laid crystal. There's a brass rod that goes straight down into Stone Mountain. The clan used to have their meetings there. What we did was we brought the people there, we aligned the crystals, we did the prayers and songs, and we reactivated the energy and got rid of the negativity, and we've been having rain in Georgia ever since.
Oh, wow.
So
and that's the power we come in with.
Like Ross is saying, when you set up the portals, because you can set up healing, you can take a tuning fork and you can take a crystal and you hit that tuning fork, and you change the frequency, the frequency in the human body. You can take crystals and use them as on pressure points in the body and change energy. These are tools that our ancestors knew how to use, and what we've got to be able to do, like you were saying, the crystals are colored to go with the chakras. They align with the chakras. And so what we're doing is we're just using our alchemy. This is our science. What we taught them or what they stole, and what we're doing now is being reawakened to it. Through the divine feminine, because here's Kajara saying, let's get some more people and take them up there, because she's feeling, birthing a new way of doing what? Healing. Working in healing. Ceremonies. This is what we've got to do. This is our culture. Anyway, that's all I can say on what else we're doing.
I do want to try to get a couple more of these callers to come in.
Hold on, just 1 second, because in the chat room I got a question, and it kind of touched on what we were talking about just a bit. Got a question from Mike Sampson asking, do crystals hold information, and can information be pulled from the crystal during meditation? And I think that kind of goes into like programming, maybe.
No, it can be pulled because that's twofold, because you got what's called scouring. You can look in and you can, this is what the African used to use. There was a sister here from Cameroon told me when I gave her a crystal, she was saying, I had one little girl and I used to sit and I could read, I could see everything that was going on by looking in the crystal. It's because her frequency projected like a hologram into the crystal, and she could watch what was going on in her mind about what was happening with this person. I told you they're piezoelectric. They're electrical. Why do you think we use them in computers, cell phones, everything we use electronically? That's why they use the crystal.
Yep.
All right.
So that crystal ball is real.
It's serious. They are very serious. But I do want to, for our brother at the 704 area code, we thank you for calling in. Please visit us at RasekiHealing.com. We do have more information there about the Crystal Retreat, and you can register there as well. And we are going to bring in, because we have a few more people who want to ask some questions. I'm going to go to area code 718. Peace and love. Welcome to the call.
Hi, peace and love to you, sister, and everybody here. I have a niece who has she has paralysis, and I'd like to know, is there anything that can help her condition?
Green tourmaline.
Hello?
Yes, green tourmaline.
I'm not hearing you clearly.
Green tourmaline.
Green
tourmaline.
Tourmaline.
Oh, tourmaline. Would this also help? She
and
also has.
Put it at the extremities of the body, so like and in the webs of the toes, and at the hands, and around the head.
Around the head.
Yeah.
Just that one stone, green tourmaline.
Yeah, get several pieces, so you can have a couple on each foot. Yeah. Because what that's going to do is it's going to get like a nice little microcurrent going through the nerves. Okay.
Okay, the nerve.
Yeah.
You would want to do that.
It's a regenerative stone as well. It encourages repair.
Ooh. Okay. Another
sessions with them every day, like 30 minutes.
Maybe an hour.
Yeah, I would say like an hour a day.
Yeah, but you got to start small and work it up because you got to get the body changing a frequency.
Mm-hmm. Is it possible if I can speak to one of you off the air? Because I'm kind of having a bad connection now.
Sure.
Right.
Go
ahead. Which one is it? Go ahead.
Yeah, my contact is 267-353-2002.
What's the last four? You said 3. All right. What? I didn't get it.
353-2002.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Yes,
thank you so much for calling in. All right, we got another caller at area code 707. Peace and love. Welcome to the call.
Uja, this is the Chia with Kenneton.
Uja. How are you, sis?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thank you for taking my call. And for such an enlightening show. I'm glad I got to tune in tonight.
We're glad that you were able to tune in.
Yes, I love
we always glad to hear you.
And I'm actually thinking of coming along for this event in March. But I was intrigued by the conversation earlier when they were talking about the limestone that has crystals in it. And, my area is with sound. And I recently learned about how the pyramids are made with stones that have crystals in them, and that they use them to generate energy by using the sound. And also in South Africa, I forgot the name of the place, but it's somewhere in South Africa where they have these amazing structures that are made with ring stone, which is stone that has crystals in it, and when you hit them, they ring like a bell. And I was just wondering if the guests on the show have any information on something like this, using structures that are made of crystals to generate energy. Like Tesla was really big on this. He would say that the earth rings like a bell, and we can harness that energy for power, harness that sound energy for power. So that's my question.
Well, okay, I can share with you, and thank you. That's an excellent question, and I think I've spoken a little earlier, but I can reiterate that part about the granite and the crystal. And yes, Tellinger is doing some extensive work down in South Africa, because some of the first observatories or where we were looking at the stars there have been found in South Africa. And the ringing stones that you're speaking about, those are granite stones that when they're hit, it creates different musical frequencies. They have them here in the United States. There's a place, I'm trying to remember where we went to, and we were out, and there's just like hundreds of rocks just laying there. All you do is take a metal and each one has a different tone to it.
Ringing Rock, Pennsylvania.
Right there.
Ringing Rock Park. And
right.
it's right there. It's about an hour north of Philadelphia.
Right, because we were in Philly, we went there. And you can go there and actually just see all the different tones that, people play music on them. They've learned to create musical tones that they can play music on them. And so what we're doing is that we're learning that these things in nature, are able to give us the necessary sounds, the necessary waters, everything it takes that she gives us to have life. She gives us a way in which we can come to her and get these resources to continue our life. And the thing that I think it was another part of the question she wanted to know too. Building something. You can structure granite and say that you get granite with crystal in it, and you can get and just hold it to your faith and speak into it, bouncing off your mantra. That creates a different frequency by hitting that stone and coming off and going back into the universe. Because with us talking right now, everybody that's on this conversation on the web, one of us releases energy that's touching 72,000 people on the planet as we speak until it reaches the other's ear. And what they said in the Bible about the 144,000, wherever two or more are gathered in my name, there I am. So if I'm speaking 72,000 and you're speaking 72,000, that's 144,000. That's what they speak about in the Bible. So you just look at it, it's four of us, so that's what, 288,000 that we're touching on the planet by just this conversation. Being able to emit the frequency of our energy and our voice, that frequency goes out. In 1912, a guy went up in a hot air balloon and he started trying to figure out what was this. And these particles that were falling from the cosmic, these are the particles in which radiates through the whole planet and each one of us and stored into us to give us this conscious memory. This is why the memories and everything is shifting, because we're being downloaded constantly. Every second that we're here, if we get out into the sun, into the air, this is why they're trying to make you into a box, because they don't want you to get downloaded. This is why they have a new disease called nature deficit disorder. It's because we've disconnected from nature.
Sure. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hip tip, hip tip.
We digging deep tonight, family.
Yes. We do have one more caller at area code 318. Peace and love, and welcome to the call. Are you here, area code 318? Okay, maybe we lost them.
Okay, back to the question that I think the sister asked, something about the crystal she was, and Ross had spoke on it, and I was going to come back with sharing on, piggybacking on what he was saying, and I forgot the question.
Oh, goodness. I don't remember what the question was either.
I actually answered the question because we were talking about things that we could do to work with the crystals, and then you spoke about the grids and stuff like that. But if you wanted to say something else, you're definitely welcome to.
Well, another thing we can do with the crystals and beginning to do is being able to, like I do with, if I go on the dig and I come back, I came here and I brought just a whole bag full of crystals and chips and whatever. Begin to pass them and give them to people, because what you're doing is connecting and you're changing their frequency by just putting a crystal in their hand. It automatically changes that person's frequency. And so what we've got to be able to do is to be able to go and to be able to use these tools to change the frequency, because they have now advanced the technology so well to where they have the frequency of diseases.
Yeah.
They can take any disease. They know
the broadcast illness.
Right, and they can transmit illness. So that means is that they take all of these cell phone towers, transmit the flu, and everybody in that range of that cell phone tower will come up with this virus if you don't know how to use the tools or have the tools on you to deter that frequency from being absorbed from you. Because, see, this is why we have to clean crystals and clear them with, sea salt water, put them in the earth, setting them in the moonlight, and letting them bathe in the sun, because what they do is they clear and emit that energy, transmit that energy off, and then you can reprogram them. You can program a crystal just about to do anything constructive with Maya. You can't program it to make somebody hurt or you make somebody love you, but you can program it for truth, which Maya is. So this is what we got to begin to do in being able to use these tools. This is what they've been doing with us.
Yeah, because just to build on that, we know universal law, everything is vibration. And if someone can control your frequency, they don't even have to put forth effort controlling your body, you know. So yeah, if you're not in control of your frequency, who is? And then how do you get in control with your frequency? And that's really what the importance of crystals are. It helps us, you know, be in control of our lives and our frequency. Very important.
Right, and that's key because the thing that you look at, light travels at 186,000 miles a second. Okay, a thought travels 326,000 miles a second. Which one is faster?
Well, another thing, one of you all did mention, getting back to our crystal retreat, that Ouachita Mountain and the energy. I know I can definitely say that it was a beautiful experience for me. Definitely why I want to go again. And the crystals that we found were amazing. We found some that were like clear, like water clear, and all different sizes. And I was just so thankful to have Baba Kwame there to tell us how to do it and to help me allow the crystals to lead me to them. And so we're going to have that tour guide, I would say, again, that experienced veteran in digging the crystals, which is definitely something we are going to have, we're going to value having. So, yeah, can you just talk about the land, the Ouachita Mountain, and the energy there a little bit more?
Ouachita Mountain is the sacred mountains, and these mountains are part of the foothills of the Ozarks. And I talked about Mount Magazine and that being the seated of the emerald crystals and the caverns and the caves and the underground springs that are there. This is why they built the bathhouses and hot springs. Is because of the medicinal purpose of that water. That water comes out of the earth. You can go there in town. We went there and got water. They sell it now, and what's happening with it, the people are buying up the land and building and tapping into the mineral source of the water deposits under the land, and they're trying to control that water. And so what we're looking at doing is being able to bring our people there, being able to show them how to use that crystals, and that you can take those crystals that you take back home and clean them. Sometimes they sell you oxalic acid to clean the iron off of it, but I found something better natural. You could take rhubarb, and you take it and you boil it and you put your crystals in there and it removes iron.
You said
rhubarb, like the plant?
The plant, like we make rhubarb pies. And
rhubarb, yes.
You could take that, cut it up, boil it, put it in there, boil your crystals, and it removes all of that off naturally. That way you don't have to contaminate your crystal using that oxalic. All oxalic acid is swimming pool cleaner. It cleans the water of swimming pools. But they use it to clean the crystals, but if you don't do it right, it leaves a yellow residue. Mm-hmm. So what we're learning is how to do it in the way the ancestors used to do it. They would use rhubarb. That was an Indian told me about that. He said we used to take the crystals and put them all in there, put the rhubarb and boil them, and then they all come out crystal clear. And what happens is Ouachita Mountain, because of that mountain being a sacred mountain that the indigenous people did, it was part of the Louisiana Purchase. And what it is that's the energy right off. I said the Mississippians built their temples called the Toltec Mounds. They had a whole city there before there was even a Hot Springs or even Little Rock, Arkansas. And so what we're doing is we're tapping back in ancestral land. And this is where we have to begin to go and do ceremony. Go to these sacred places that are left that we can go to, do our ceremonies, send the energy that will radiate when two or more gathered, and we can begin to do the spiritual warfare that has to be done. We can't beat them in the physical, but we can sure enough use the spiritual, which we can do well if we tune into ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I just looked up because I do know that oxalic acid is found in plants, and it contains it naturally, but it's not. I'm certain that the oxalic acid that they're talking about is an artificial one. So that is a very helpful tip. I'm so appreciative of that.
Well, it's the same thing. It's just like, see, the thing that happens with man is you cannot patent a plant. You cannot patent nature. So what they do is get the chemical formula, create a synthetic, and then they utilize it and sell it. Same thing with building a sweat lodge. We always use willow. When we make it, we take the willow because it grows by water. It has water energy in it, and it's a very powerful tree. And what we do with that willow is that we skin the bark and we tie it and make the inipe with it. Because when the heat from the mineral people in the lodge, in the covering, is that it releases the acid in the willow, which they created aspirin from. It takes away pain.
That's right. Wow. Just the science of nature and spirituality is just beautiful when it's all combined.
But see, it's the word we use, spiritual.
I was just also going to ask Ross to share. I know when we go to the Crystal Retreat in March, it's right after the spring equinox, and also a full moon is like on the 23rd of March. So I know the energy is going to be high, and maybe you can just share something with us about that. We'll be tapping into that energy when we go on that trip.
Yes, well, yeah, that equinox, equal night, that's when the sun is right aligned with the equator, and it's usually a time to align with balance and, the yin and the yang, that tree of knowledge of good and evil, just being able to balance the poles, the polarity that, is a part of this reality here, That's the equinox is a good time to, work with that energy, a great time to harvest crystals. And then full moon, that, tapping that lunar energy. A lot of our indigenous teachings say we are people of the moon, the Nyangas or the Ngangas. That, that's how we got here. The moon was our vehicle over here. And, we have to tune to its rhythms to really be in the fullness of ourselves. There's a lot to meditate on that too, because all natural bodies rotate. You notice the moon don't rotate. Same energy see of the moon. It's the same side we always see. That's something to meditate on. And then even how the moon just lined up where it's the exact, from our perspective, the exact size of the sun. That's something else to meditate on, how that happens.
And can I piggyback on that, Kajara? And Ross,
go right ahead.
He's key on point, because this is why, like I said when we went, okay, let's go fall equinox, is because what happens in that galactic shifting in this Earth energy is that Earth is seeded on the spring equinox to activate the energy to do what? Everything is activated. That's the natural new year. And so what is happening is that the natural new year is programmed into the crystals that are seeded there. When you harvest them, you're taking seeds that's been programmed into those crystals, and these seeds will help activate wherever you do whatever you want to do with it. When you harvest, or when you go to the summer solstice and you dig the crystals there, they at the highest frequency, because what do they form from? Water. So you got the solar energy and you got the lunar energy programmed into that crystal to create a frequency for that time when it's discovered or gifted to you. That's the purpose that you use it for.
Well, we got a few minutes left, and we did get our caller back at the area code 318. Peace and love. Welcome to the call.
Peace and love and light, everybody. Sorry about that. I was trying to get my friend to tune in. Dua to everybody, because y'all really been confirming a lot of things that I've thought, that was just an idea to me, but I see that it's true now. I had a question because I won't be able to attend the dig retreat, but I had a question about the mounds in Louisiana and what crystals are mainly found here, and where can I go to get some, mine them.
If you're in Louisiana, are you in Louisiana?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you know where Poverty Point is?
Yeah, me and my boyfriend were actually talking about going to Poverty Point. We visited Emerald Mounds last year, and the energy there was so beautiful. We were at the top, and the peak of the sun just shone down on everything. It was just really invigorating.
Okay, what you can do, you can't excavate the crystals that are in the earth that are buried there and around the area. There's no mines that I know of that's in that area. But the other thing you can do with what you want to be done, and like you said, you and your boyfriend went there and the energy was powerful, take your crystals on, say, the full moon, and you all go there and you do a ceremony and you activate them on that moon time, on that mound. It's that's why I told you crystals are a transmitter receiver. Whatever energy is in that emerald mound or at Poverty Point will transmit and program it to that to that crystal. Because it really is, it's an earth computer. But what you're doing was you're transferring the energy and you can use it just like you found the energy, found that crystal there on that line.
So would you recommend a certain type of crystal to bring, or just all of my crystals?
Well, if you have clear quartz crystals, get you a clear bowl and sea salt and water. Go out there on the full moon, And so what you will do is that in that time of the full moon, you do your ceremony. You put your crystals in the bowl, let the moonlight shine into it. Do whatever ceremonies you all would do together and program that. You can't leave them there. But what you can do is take it there, do the ceremony, bring them back, and leave them in that moonlight out at that night and let the sun bathe them in that next day, and then you rinse them off and clear them. But what you're doing is you're triangulating energy.
I'm going to go to Pilot Mountain and do that.
Bless all of y'all. Bless every single one of y'all.
But this is what I'm saying. This
you.
is the science that our people knew. This is why they took a cornerstone of one temple and after it was destroyed and take it and build the next one. Because all they're doing is trying to get the energy.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Whew. I'm sorry for the conversation. Sure.
Why do you think,
and
Kadar, you doing Kemetic, why do you think the Cleopatra's Needle is in Rome, the other pyramid that came out of Kemet is on the Thames River, and the other one that they built is the Washington Monument, and all of them have water reflection?
Yeah.
The male and female energy. Because they know that energy, because they know how to do what? Raise the dead. Because that is energy.
That's right. They trying anyway.
But this is why we have to. This is why we have to remember so that we can harness our own energy for our benefit. Yeah.
And put those on the windowsill in your sacred spaces. Use your crystals. Were you going to say something, sis? You know we got a few minutes left. So
go ahead and finish what you're saying, because whatever I could say can piggyback off of you. Go ahead, Mama.
Okay. I do want to thank everyone who called in to share, to ask questions. We thank everyone who called in to listen in. And we do encourage everyone to join us on the Crystal Retreat, March 25th through the 28th. We are going to Arkansas. We're going to dig some crystals and get that beautiful spring equinox energy and share together and build and grow and heal like we always do at our retreats. So visit us at RasikiHealing.com for more information and to register. And also visit RasBen.net so you can get the book Rocks of Ages.
.com.
And RasBen.com, excuse me.
Yes, I.
And
no worries.
Well, let me just say, if you all have something quick to share, we got a few minutes left before we close out. Go ahead, Ras.
Yes, I just want to affirm that this is a time to really be working with the earth element at this time. You know, we all got to be on our magi state as much as possible. Our thoughts, our feelings, our words, and our actions create our reality quickly now more than ever. And so, well-intended thought and crystals are great manifestation tools for this time. And we got to be on, it's time to step up that game. We're in the quickening. Everything happens quick, So, take advantage of that time. Take advantage of this time. Seize the moment. And, make sure the heart and mind is as pure of intention as possible so that what you're creating you're thankful for. You don't want to hurt yourself, or others. And gratitude is definitely the magi emotion in this time. So, don't be covetous with your crystals. Be gracious and full of gratitude that Mother Earth has, allowed you to be a custodian. So I'll just chill with that thought right there.
All right, Dua. And Baba Kwame, did you want to say anything?
Yes, and Ross can piggyback because he's speaking truth. And the part what's happening is as above, so below. We have to begin to understand the astral mean, because that's you that came from the heavens, that Adam Kadmon. And right now on this full moon, the first full moon of this season, then the ending moons. So what we've got to be able to do is, and they have 5 planets that's in a galactic alignment right now.
That's right.
And what is that you can take the energy of that moon being full, it's reflecting all 5 planets. And what it's doing is sending energy to this earth and to you. If you know how to tap into you, you are the one you've been waiting for. As Rumi says, everything in the universe is within you. When will you learn to use yourself? Do the ritual. You're saying we want spiritual, but in the word spiritual, the word ritual. You can't connect with spirit if you don't know how to use the ritual.
All right, man. Yeah. Go ahead, my sister.
Well, it's just about been all said. This weekend, I know the full moon that Baba Kwame was talking about. I'm just really appreciative for this time, and I know that this is going to be an awesome retreat this equinox coming. Mook Kajara, please share with people how they can get in touch with you. We got people on the chat room asking specific questions about meeting points. They want to fly in a day early and everything. So I want to direct them to you, and you tell them how you would like is the best way to get in touch with you for more details, and also maybe how to tap into the webinar that we had a couple of weeks ago.
All right. We do have a Facebook event page that has the webinar link. We also, you can email me at rasekitemple@gmail.com. We are encouraging everyone to fly into Little Rock, Arkansas. We will help people to connect so that you all can carpool to drive from Little Rock to the house that we're going to be staying in, which is going to be about an hour away from Little Rock. We will also, for those who register, if you're coming from Philadelphia, we know Ross Ben is coming from there, and he is definitely looking for people to ride with him. We also have some people coming from some different areas, so definitely email us or send us a link on the Facebook event page, Crystal Retreat, Crystal Dig, and Healing Retreat. Visit us at rasekihealing.com, RASEKHIHEALING. We do have a limited space available at this point. If you are interested, definitely go ahead and at least register, make that deposit for $99 to hold your space, because after a certain point there will be a cutoff, or you have to sleep on the air mattress. So the bed space is it is going. And if you want to join us, definitely go ahead and register. We thank everyone for joining in. We love you all. We appreciate you all. And continue the efforts to send the water and other supplies to Flint, Michigan. Also, we have to see what we could do about our people in California. It is so much going on. So be safe. Take care of yourself. Be prepared. Get your water together. Do your rituals. Bible said, make sure if you are spiritual that you're doing the rituals. We got the full moon and the planets lined up, so take advantage of that tonight. Uncle Johnson Neb.
Uncle Johnson Neb. That's up to family.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Bless up. Rastafari.
Thank you all so much. I'll be talking to you soon.
Yes, sir.
All right, peace.
Peace.
Congratulations, you've just been handed a huge new opportunity. Bravo. With it comes the need for new skills. Skills you'll need to master in short order. Every year, Harvard Business School Executive Education helps executives like you develop the hard and soft skills it takes to succeed in new roles. This is your chance. Go. Start by going to hbs.me/go. That's hbs.me/go.
The all-new Toyota RAV4 asks, what if? What if your ride was refined and rugged at the same time? Introducing a car that's got style and substance to spare. The all-new RAV4 Limited, featuring a sophisticated, muscular new exterior and available options like a premium JBL audio system and panoramic roof. The all-new RAV4 Limited. Toyota, let's go places. JBL and Clarifier, registered trademarks of Harman International Industries Incorporated.